So dare I say, proxies, when we look at something like this, ZZZ's third relaunch, it's not a third relaunch. It's an evolution of content. That while ZZZ is addressing some balancing issues, it is not addressing them in the terms that it's been detrimental to the game, to where they had to go back from scratch to fix things. 1.4 you can consider to be a relaunch because they removed the TV mode, they reworked a lot of things. Yeah, 1.4 was, in all honesty, a relaunch to really fix the game. Here, they're not fixing, they're adding, which means evolution to content. But let's go ahead and let's listen to the man, the legend himself, and let's spend the next 30 minutes understanding what his thought process is. You're looking to snag that next S rank agent on your account, but yet you're out of polychromes and you're about to blow some cash on the in-store shop for some monochromes? Hold up before you top up. If you're playing Zenless Zone Zero, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, or any gacha game that empties your wallet, LDSHOP's got your back. With LDSHOP, not only you're just topping up, but you're saving money. 27% compared to the in-game store prices. That means more rolls, more chances for your dream agent, and way less pain on your bank account. And the best part? It's fast, it's safe, it's secure. No sketchy logins, no endless waiting. Just pick your game, choose your amount, pay, and boom. Your credits to the account before your pity counter even starts sweating. And here's the kicker for all my viewers out there. You'll save even more with the link down in the description below. So whether you're pulling for Orphe, Lucia, or one of those agents that, you know, RNG keeps teasing you with, don't let the in-game store rob you blind. Top smarter. Save yourself right now by using LDSHOP down in the link below.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another Zenless Zone Zero Developers Listened video. And from what I'm seeing on the screen right now, it appears that the game is going through what many consider to be its third actual relaunch. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this game has gone through about 2 relaunches already prior to version 2.5, and 2.5 is looking.
I'm going to guess that the second relaunch is 2.0. I'm going to guess. Which, again, I don't think 2.0 was a relaunch. Not even a soft relaunch or anything. Again, it was just adding new things to the game. And in general, making it what? An evolution of content. But, okay.
Looking like the third. If you're not familiar with the timeline, they had a relaunch back in version 1.4 where they made some sweeping feature updates to the game, like removing the TVs from most of the game modes. And then in version 2.0, they had yet another relaunch where they tried and failed to expand the open world elements of the game, introduce an entirely new storyline.
Boy, it's actually kind of sad that I have watched so much St. Tonus. I'm not going to deny it. I've watched so much St. Tonus with these videos and reacted to them that actually he could create any video about Zenless. He can create any video about weather and waves or whatever. And it's like Smack saying, you already know exactly what he's going to say pretty much before he says it. I think that's kind of funny.
In ZZZ's version of China, and it was just not very good. Well, the viewer numbers themselves should be able to tell you exactly how not good the update was. That was 2.0. That was 1.4. Actually, solids for 1.4. But yeah, that was 2.0, and that's been every single update afterwards. And
all right. We're using the Twitch tracker as if it is gacha PvP still. I mean, I find this is funny. And someone brought something to my attention, okay, about quote-unquote Twitch tracker. All right, so I'm just going to open up Twitch tracker right here, right? So if you go ahead and you log in to the Twitch tracker, you can go ahead and you actually have to tell it to do persistent channel tracking. And you have to hit this button right here to start doing tracking, right? And you see how it says is activated for the next 6 days as such? Your channel will be actively tracked while you're live streaming, regardless of the number of viewers. If there hasn't been any stream or activity in the last 7 days, this feature will automatically deactivate. You can easily reactivate at any time. If your channel has a few subscribers, you can grant Twitch track permission to start tracking subscribers, blah, blah, blah. Following tracking. That, from my understanding, that Twitch tracker generally gets an approximate. That it's trying to use Twitch's APIs to get the numbers, but if all of the people would actually go in there and say, track my channel, you could actually get the full true statistics for Twitch tracking. That people actually have to grant it access to be allowed to get their statistics 100%. Otherwise, it's kind of like gotcha revenue to where it just gets an average and it says, okay, so it's apparently going to be about this much. That's why there is actually, if you go take a look with, just go type in Google, okay? Twitch tracker. There is several different websites that does the same thing as this right here. Okay. And I'm just going to try to make this as short as possible. But each of them displays different information because each of them gathers information completely different. So when I see this Twitch tracker and another third-party Twitch tracker and another third-party Twitch tracker, and they're all showcasing different information about channels and about game categories that we saw it before, to which I forgot what the other one was called. It was like some Gully or something that someone made a Twitch tracker that it was saying that ZZZ was doing better than Weather and Waves at the time. And this site right here, twitchtracker.com, was saying that Woowa was doing better than ZZZ. I can't even take the information right here about quote unquote the peak of viewers and the gains and the losses and everything when all of these sites together do not coherently produce the same information. That they're just feeding that certain things are getting more information than other things, and they all processing it completely different. Just going to say that right now.
For Yadari, the newest character release that came to Zenless Zone Zero, and I think one of the reasons why they're having such a frantic call to fix the game. Yadari's max viewership when she was released, the character from version 2.3, this Calamari Yijuan over here, Tentacle Lady, she peaked at about 3.4k viewers, and you can kind of see over here, wow, that looks almost absolutely nothing like anything we've ever seen before in regards to this game. How did the new character peak at only 3.4k when they were just coming off of 24? I don't really know, but clearly the devs know a little bit more about what might be going on, so why don't we go ahead and see all the amazing changes that they have in store. Why don't we really see if 2.5 really is the ZZZ devs listened? And let's see if this third relaunch, if the third time is the charm. Because I don't really know if Hoyoverse has the confidence to go again, to go for a fourth relaunch if this one doesn't pan out. All right, Dev Talk, new reveals, Zenless Zone Zero. We asked the designers about the topics you care about. The devs have given us a candid response and brought some sweet improvements and innovations in this new reveal. Fairy has already helped the proxies to highlight the essential information, the important parts, right at your fingertips. Oh,
quick disclaimer, really quickly. If you are a person that read this, there is a video on Bilibili, and there is a translated document that goes with this, with the video, that goes into further details behind this. This is just a short summary of what actually happened in a 40-minute video that was transcribed that really goes into detail just how transparent the devs really are. Okay, I just want to make note of this because we've already went through this, and I'm not going to make a video on this because several other CCs like even Kete has already done this. So I recommend you totally go watch that video and everything else if you don't know what I'm talking about, because holy moly, when I first saw this, I was excited. When I saw the transcript and I saw everything I was blown away.
They're weaving in the lore into this, something that they haven't done in a while. Let's go ahead, let's buckle down for this one. Main story's highlight. Lacking direction or aim? We got you. Version 2.4 will be a turning point in the story. As Sarah rushes towards creator and Yi Shi Huan makes his entrance. Oh, okay, I guess they're just spoiling the story if you haven't seen it yet. I didn't know this guy was a bad guy, but I guess now I do. So, we're off to a strong start. The main storyline's objectives will become clearer, and more mysteries about the depths of the Lemnian Hollow will be gradually unveiled. All right.
You see, if you would actually understand that, that's not even really a spoiler, because that right there was part of the story, to which was a turning point automatically on its own. So I don't consider him a bad guy. Like, if you know the story, right, it's not really a spoiler, right, for even the people who don't know anything about it. In general, how he gets to that point right there isn't exactly, easy to follow. Okay, well, it's easy to follow, but it's not exactly straightforward to the fucking, like, oh, he's a bad guy. No, there's a reason why.
Right, I don't really know what this topical line item was supposed to serve. I'm gonna pretend I didn't see this one. Narrative structure feels familiar? Characters popping up out of nowhere? We've heard you, loud and clear. Isn't that funny? Where a lot of the critique that we received for Wuthering Waves and its story was the fact that there wasn't enough random pop-ins of playable units showing up and, contributing more by simply just having their presence, their limited 5-star glory on the screen. And yet ZZZ now, apparently, the game with better presentation, as some retards would say, ZZZ now is apparently getting the critiques that there's too many random character pop-ins and that they don't make sense in regards to the story. Oh, right, that was the literal critique that I made about the 2.1 story, where a bunch of random-ass units that had nothing to do with the storyline appeared out of nowhere, just to advertise that their banners were showing up at the next version. Oh, so I guess both things are wrong to do, apparently. It's wrong to not show the characters when they are not needed in Wuwa, and it's also wrong to show the characters where they're not needed in ZZZ. Okay. Plot structure.
Then he just... Okay. I thought originally, when it came to the character pop-in, that his complaint for 2.1, with Soldier 11, Seed, and them just coming in at the tail end of everything to get them ready to get into 2.2, that his thing is that it wasn't about them popping in. He said it was a marketing ploy. And the fact of the matter is, everybody corrected him, said, no, ZZZ does this. Like, characters will show up in a previous patch, and over time or whatever, depending, it will show up in the story. It will show up typically within the next part. Like, his entire argument was the fact that it was a marketing ploy. It wasn't until Yadhari and Lucia is like, with their drip marketing, how it happened, like right before 2.2, they already just, showcased 2.3 before even 2.2's release, is when he made the commentary like, well, you don't even know where these characters come from. They just randomly popped in, which, to be completely fair, completely honest, kind of makes sense, because these are just characters on a forum that only Yuzuha and Alice are talking to. So, kind of makes some sense. All right. Well, we continue.
Optimization. The converging storyline's design structure aims to let players witness the growth of various characters, ultimately taking the stage together. In the future, we will deeply integrate narrative with gameplay to provide more diverse and exciting plot experiences. I guess that sounds like they're going to make the characters and the story feel more put together. One critique that I've made about Zenless Zone Zero specifically was the fact that it seemed like the story was made and then the characters were layered on top of it. and then you just changed minor things in the story to like weave those characters in. It seems like they've listened to that feedback, and now when they're creating the story, they're going to create the story with the characters in mind first and then make a story around them, versus starting with the story and then finding a way to fit the characters in. It is without a doubt extremely clear that the method I just said, making the story and then adding the characters in, that's what they were doing. And the story, as a result, was complete fucking dog shit from version 2.0 all the way until now. It's just been so bad and a complete step back from the early versions of the game, where I imagine they were actually doing more of this optimization, and then they just decided to go stupid mode for 2.x and beyond. Get to know.
Let me think here for a minute, because from the dev talk, when they were talking about the narration of the story, right? The optimization on it is what they were talking about in the actual video was the things like, you know, them trying to add like, you know, the wandering hunter when it's chasing like Belle and stuff like this, that they were trying to add more into the story to optimize the narrative, to give more structure to the game's story, not just through characters, but through how Bell and Wise work through it. They did like with 2.1, they were talking about with the vents, where you had to crawl through the vents to get to the other side to unlock the doors type deal. They talked about 2.2 with the QTE events. It was the first time they tried it. That they were talking about optimizing the narrative points of interactions that we, the players, have in the game. That some people felt like this wasn't good. And that was some of the feedback they got. And this all came into play to where they were trying to explain that all of this is working they're trying things to ultimately go into the future of the game to make these things better. That these are narrative points that they just don't want to. I took it like this. They don't want to have a black screen and white text. That they're trying to find a way to make those points more narrative and more presentable. I could be wrong, but that's what I thought I remember from the transcript that I've read when we had that part. But let's continue on.
New friends early. Since version 1.6, we've been focusing on long-term character development and integration, with special attention to key characters' highlight moments. For example, in version 2.4, Yi Shungite will gradually get acquainted with the proxies, revealing untold stories. Okay, so it looks like they're just taking the Cartithia approach, with what is supposed to be the next new Void Hunter. Yes, she's supposed to be the next overpowered unit. So it looks like they're just taking the approach that Wuthering Waves did with Cartithia in version 2.2 to get you introduced to the character in the story and then run their banner in the next version. That's 99% what's going to happen. So this is just like a confirmation of it. Hopefully she's a good character. I know a lot of people are looking forward to her, probably as one of like the only pulls that they plan on making for the foreseeable future. So hope they don't shit the bed with this one. Will our old pal...
Okay. Well, what about other characters like the blind guy, Cantrella, like Lupa, like several different characters that just showed up out of nowhere in Wuthering Waves? Like, the patch was made directly for that fucking character. Like, that character didn't show up like 2 or 3 patches ago, right? One good thing that I will say about ZZZ, and I will counter-argue this, is that ZZZ has had one thing, which I don't think some people like it. I'll be honest. I don't think some people like it. I think this is all right, to be honest. ZZZ likes to hint at characters. Like our new Void Hunter girl has been hinted at since the beginning of 2.0. And gradually there's hints to certain characters that just slowly come into the game. I don't know. I don't know how to take this one. Yeah, like the Shesha girl or whatever her name is, fucking the new one that's coming out. Like she's been stuck in the sonosphere, so she's never even been part of the story. She's never been hinted at except for drip marketing since the very beginning, and now she's showing up in 2.8. I mean, dare I say, with like Weather and Waves, I mean, they spoiled every single character except for Contrella and for Lupa in all of 2.0. Those were the only two characters that, oh, excuse me, and Kokona. The only three characters that just really just showed up out of nowhere. That was actually a pleasant surprise because everything else was spoiled with drip marketing. Like we already know who's coming in the game, and these are the three that, you know, just showing up. Oh, and also Bullying, but Bullying doesn't matter. Bullying's a fucking 4-star character, right? Yeah. At least Bullying shows up in this story before the Sonos, before this. At least we build a relationship up with Little Miss. I have so many different accents and it's cute as shit. So yeah, let's continue.
Be forgotten. Where'd the initial story go? Worry not. Old friends are always here. While everyone has their own social circles, they'll continue to appear in the proxies' lives and showcase new sides of themselves through the main storyline and events, like Venus's new look in version 2.0 Gravity Cinema event. Why didn't they just show a photo of that? I don't think anyone even knows what that is, and that was also in version 2.0. That was an event in version 2.0. That was like 4 fucking months ago. Are you supposed to remember a random event from 4 months ago where the NPC had a different outfit? What?
Bro, you remember everything about Wuwa. You played it. And how many times have you argued with so many people about certain things that you just go pull it up and say, I told you it was there? Like, people who play the game know exactly what this is. Now, I will say that when it comes to this particular part in the transcript, what I liked about in the transcript of the video is the devs were actually explaining, like, you know, like Venus and characters, you know, we don't see, you know, all the time, but we get to see them every now and then, is they want to treat the relationship like, you know, that old friend that you have that, you know, you may not see them except maybe once every couple of months or something, that they want to make sure that they're bringing those characters in as often as possible, but still, when they're not there, that you still know that you're friends. They just don't want to do a one and done situation, even for NPCs like Venus. That was the point. The point of that was to instill, like, hey, you haven't seen Ben Bigger basically since Bellabog days. It's a couple little events here and there. Guess what? We want to make sure that you have an event like maybe later down 2.0 range where you and Ben Bigger go out for ice cream. That he just showed up at Wi-Fi Peninsula over here. He's on business and he's like, oh, Proxies, you're here. And it's like, hey, while I'm here, let's go do something. That's what they want to incorporate because they want you to think that these characters, the immersion that they're trying to push on you is that everybody has a life. Then they're not focused around one particular main character and want to suck their dick.
Anyways, initial story. The main story will have an increased relevance to the AI plotline, and Internet will be regularly updated. I think that was a big concern for a lot of individuals. It felt like the proxy storyline was abandoned ever since you, like, met Yi Zhuan and started doing all this Meridian shit, and it just felt like you were like some martial arts training disciple as opposed to, I don't know, the shit that you were apparently doing in the story for the past 4 or 5 years of your life being a proxy. Yeah, I think that part of the storyline has definitely felt completely absent since 2.x. Yeah, you literally just feel like you're on like a school adventure or training to be a kung fu master. That's like the two vibes that you've gotten. Now, urban evolution.
All right, to go on to this one right here. There has people who fully do feel like this. Like, you know, we had this conversation not that long ago here, even on the live stream, where we discussed that there is people who do not like the feeling of magic, we'll call it, right? The mystic arts, where I'll say what it is. It's magic. Okay? They don't like the magical feel that the game is presenting right now. They don't like the direction in some cases. It's kind of disjointing for them when they're so fucking, you know, like what 1.0 had to offer with its more urban 90s accent, 90s its 90s style storyline and stuff like this, that it felt more. And dare I say, like, you know, I'm all right with 2.0. I think 2.0 story, I think pretty much it's been good, you know. It's been great so far, to be honest. That I can understand that for some people it might not be so great. And the devs are recognizing that, and they want to try to help those people out in particular, because there might be a more massive majority of a vocal opinion for that. And you know what? It's the same feeling that I had with Weather and Waves. Weather and Waves 1.0 to 1.4. I love the aesthetic. I love what it was direction was going. When 2.0 came out and I went through 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3 story, I said it wasn't for me. I said it was not for me. Like, I don't like the story. I don't like the direction. I don't like the aesthetic. I don't like what's going on. And then I look at something like 2.8's last live stream, and holy moly, I am now interested again. Like, now it looks like we're going back to what I liked. That's why, like I said, and some people disagree with me, but I was back with Woo and such as, but I was trying to say is, could it be a possibility that, you know, with gacha games and, you know, since it's a live service and how stories and things are and how different writers come in and they want to do their own visual appeals, is it all right not to say that, you know, hey, look, I don't feel like 2.0 ZZZ stories for me? And just be all right with that, you know, is it not all right just to just say that? Me personally, I think that, like, if anything, we went from, I'll say it like this, okay? Try to keep this short and sweet, but I feel like we went from ZZZ with 1.0 to 1.7 from like 90s action American style filming to Chinese 90s action style filming, if that makes sense. Because if you watch in the 90s a movie like in America, you get like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, you get, you know, that type of cop drama. Like Jane Doe, for example, going undercover was like lethal weapon and stuff like this. In the 90s movie craze in the thing. And then when I come into 2.0, I feel like I'm watching like, you know, a Chinese style of movie that was made in the 90s that talks about like the dark mystical arts and stuff like this. It still has that 90s aesthetic. It's just, it's a different way of telling the story. Like, dude, I fucking love Bruce Lee movies, man. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. I love Sylvester Stallone movies. They each got their own different things. And I just feel like, you know, in ZZZ, they just kind of changed it up a little bit. But give credit where credit's due. The devs recognized it, and they want to try to implement back more of the AI storyline. So that's a good thing.
New shops are finally here for real. The 404 Error Livehouse making its debuts soon along with familiar faces in front of the 6th Street Metro Station, the antique shop Boo Yan in Fail You and Me Heights will all be featured in due time. The Hot Pot restaurant will also... Okay, who cares about this shit? Like, what are these shops going to fucking do? I mean, it's like... I don't really know what this is supposed to be, because unless I know what these shops do or like what I can do in them, like, why do I give a shit? Maybe like you're supposed to know, and like they're...
See, I gotta say that I don't really know anything about this either. Okay. All I know is new shops are going to open up, but there's been people in my Discord that is so excited about this because apparently something back last year or whatever with ZZZ, the devs have talked about this before and what the purpose of this is. Like, apparently there might have been an event or something that happened here at one time, and they're super excited. Like, there's people, I think, that's in the ZZZ community that really knows about this, and dare do I say that I think the developer log is made for people who play the game and people who are fans. I don't think the developer talk here is made for a person who wants to pretend that they know everything about gacha, who doesn't play the gacha.
For keeping it a secret unless you, like, I don't know, read like every disk drive in the game, like kind of like how Genshin has lore hidden behind its artifacts. I guess I don't know what I'm supposed to... I know there's like a ramen restaurant, and so is the hot pot restaurant just the same fucking thing, but like they'll have different icons. Like that's what I mean. I don't know if this is like good or bad, if it's just like extra space, or if it's a good addition to... I've got no clues. I don't know how to feel about that one. All right. Version 2.5.
Which clearly means you don't know shit about ZZZ because clearly you don't play the game.
5 brings more updates to sandbox exploration. Okay, so they're expanding out on the open world a bit more significantly. New way of getting around. It'll be related to Ye Shungite's abilities. Okay. Map and gameplay integration. We'll attempt to better integrate certain monster skills with the stages and environments to enrich your gaming experience. So, like, the monsters will, like, interact with the terrain and, like, break stuff? That would be cool. Or are they basically saying there's just gonna be miasma everywhere? Are they just saying that there's going to be, like, miasma literally fucking everywhere because miasma's a... This is the thing. Sometimes I feel like it's really hard to give the ZZZ devs the benefit of the doubt, because I remember what these guys did when they had like a whole fucking dev talk about 2.0, said that they were going to add a bunch of great new combat mechanics to the game. They like fucking lied, bro. Like, they like fucking lied. Like, they said they're gonna add new shit that was gonna make like the gameplay and the fighting feel good, and then they added in fucking miasma. That's like what it, like, they added in fucking miasma, and then they just made like the combat like arguably worse against every single new boss that came in. It feels so bad to fight against. It feels so bad to play against. They literally started nerfing anomaly characters because they made them too strong, and so every new boss that comes out has like 25% anomaly resistance, and so like you like can't use the archetype anymore. And like that's what they did to the balance of the game and the combat after like promising so much during this dev talk. Like I actually needed to retract that. Like they didn't follow through on fucking anything that they said they were gonna do here except buffing the old units. But guess what? When they try to buff Ellen, apparently that first round of buffs was so dog shit they're buffing her again. I think that's crazy. Their first round of buffs were so fucking bad that they now have to buff her again. Is there even a point in them buffing characters? Anyway,
I'll pause it right here. So the 2.0 is still not done. First and foremost, there has been lots of different, when you read the talk, when you go read the transcript of the dev talk, there has been a lot of different things that has been implemented into the game. Okay, they're still implementing things. They're trying different things. Like with 2.5, with the co-op experience is going to be coming in. Using the Bang Boo network events, you would call them, like the auto chess and stuff like this, the Fallout guys, was a way for them to test their entire infrastructure because people played it. They want to make sure that they can house like 6 people basically at one time. They're testing things. Enriching the gameplay integration and everything else. Yes, they're looking at different things they might be doing with monsters within the stage, with the environments to try to enrich the experience, because you took away TV mode. We're now putting in these exploration stages, and they kind of feel a little lackluster, and they've been trying to figure out their place. I swear, like, how many times has WUWA since 1.0 days, and like someone like St. Tonis and all the other CCs had embarked when there was problems with certain things, where some things didn't feel right and everything else, that you all gave them a chance to say, oh, cook. And then something doesn't happen until 5 patches down the road. And then all of a sudden it's like, we've been bitching about this for so long and they finally did it. Yay. Like even right now, 2.8 is somewhat of a dry patch. Some CCs are starting to see it like, whoa, this is kind of a dry patch still and everything else. Yeah, we got 2 combat events. One's a recycled one, but it's still better than nothing, but it's not going to last long. But we've been hearing complaints since 2.5 to 2.8 to 2.7 about no combat events, lackluster events, stuff like this. In fact, from my understanding and from what I heard with St. Tonis and everything else about 2.8's quote-unquote live stream, that he was kind of complaining there was less casual events, and I don't get it. Like, you can't make this man happy. That's going to be the entire thing. To me, devs are going to do better integrations, they're saying, with monster skills. They're looking at different things. Yes, we're at 2.4, but in terms of what they're doing, it takes time. This is not something like I tried explaining this how long ago, guys? Like a couple, just not even a week ago, right? Where when we heard all about all the great things at 2.5 and everything else, we heard all the stuff that's going to be happening and how everybody got so excited. And like I said it back then, is this is stuff that's probably been planned, but they need to be able to develop it. They need to be able to find the right moment to push in. You can't go ahead and expect that if there's something you don't like in 2.3's fucking patch, that it gets fixed in 2.4, because it may take all the way up to fucking 2.7 to fix it. Because they already have a roadmap. They've already, since even well before 2.0, they probably have a roadmap that is 70% completed of what their plan is and what they're trying to achieve all the way to 3.0. That they were working on this since last year. They're implementing it right now. And through each patch, they're trying to integrate different things in there, and they're testing the waters. And some things work, some things don't work. And what doesn't work, they're taking it out. They're reworking it on the fucking whiteboard. They're remastering it. And then you might not see it until 2 or 3 patches down the road, but they're going to implement it, a new fix to it. Even with the dev talk, if you read the transcript, that's what they're trying to tell you, is that there's things that they're promising that they are going to put into the game. It's just that it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to take time. Even for Weather and Waves, man, it's going to take time to get certain things done, and you can't rush it. Sometimes you even have to delay things because you won't meet the target, the target date. Sometimes you gotta delay things. Sometimes they hit problems. This is how the real fucking world works. Because if they could fix it the next patch, they would. Even Weather and Waves would fix it the next patch if they could. But sometimes you gotta wait. Patience is a fucking virtue.
I have a lot of confidence in here. The way that I'm rating this could so easily be just them adding in exploration locked behind limited units. Not gonna lie. Yeah, it's like, hey, by the way, Ye Shungite has the special ability to remove miasma. She can remove miasma from the explorative area because she's just that strong. By the way, if you don't have her, you're gonna have to like go grab this gadget that's really annoying to use to take care of the miasma for you. It's also gonna be like halfway across the map, so you're gonna have to like sprint there for like 10 seconds, go grab it, and then go sprint back for 10 seconds, and then be able to detonate the miasma. That's actually, now that I think about it, I feel like that's what's going to occur. That's why they said the new way of getting around is going to be related to Ye Shungite's abilities. Oh, fuck. Okay, well, damn, maybe I was wrong. Maybe this relaunch is going to suck dick. But that's the thing. They're so vague with what they're suggesting over here. All we can do is speculate. And guess what, guys? When it comes to Hoyoverse, you're always better off speculating pessimistically. You're always going to assume the worst when it comes to this company. And when I see shit that's like all like this cute and shit, look, they're putting in a fucking tilde. They put in a fucking tilde after this. Like, they're trying to be all cute and shit and be like, it's gonna be Ye Shungite, and it's also gonna be related to monster abilities. I'm pretty sure this is going to be some pay-to-win exploration. That's just the vibe that I'm getting over here. Again, it's a Hoyoverse game. We've already seen the track record. We've already seen how every single endgame mode has become literally pay-to-win in all of their games across the past couple of updates. I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to make ZZZ's exploration pay-to-win too, just to like round it all out, make the entire circle complete. Okay, enhanced exploration experience. Perception.
Wow. Wow. I don't think I could. You know what? I don't think that I can even argue with that logic. Like, I think maybe autism might be actually something that might be contracted. I think I might be collecting it. Holy shit.
Techniques will have more applications. Plus, Kind Bang Boo will help you with treasure detection. With exploration side quests and new IP collectibles, it's an immersion level upgrade. Oh, dearie me. So it really looks like they're fleshing out the exploration a lot more. And I'm going to be real with you. The exploration that exists in the game is you walking around, pressing R, and then spamming the F button. And so the exploration that they released in version 2.0 of this game is some complete fucking dog ass and like doesn't even feel like a half fleshed out feature. It's terrible. And so when they were advertising the 2.0 exploration, they were talking about it like it was fucking sex, right? And now, when we look at this over here, this doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in me because the first pass of the exploration was so damn bad, it was unbelievable. So I think anything that they add will be an improvement, but they're starting below sea level. They're currently in the negative values. The exploration is right now, in its current state, it's so bad that it makes the game worse, and it makes you wonder why it's even in there in the first place. And so, while the only way is genuinely like up, I don't think they could make it worse. It's still a net reduction to the game's enjoyment, and there's gonna have to be a lot of work done to make it a positive impact on the game's enjoyment. All right, now
Okay, exploration wise, I'll go give you my hot take on this one. I don't think the ZZ devs ever intended to do exploration, right? They intended to do TV mode. The TV game was the principal idea for exploration, because this is an instance-based game, cost-effective wise. This allows them to put more resources into other things rather than doing this. When all that went away, you have to fill that gap up with something. And in general speaking, what does every single player fucking want? Take yourself out the equation as a ZZZ fan. What does every other player want? What's happening to Arc Knights infield? What's happening to all these games? People want dodges in combat. People want exploration. People want open world. So the devs with the exploration need to make sure that they can make it cost effective. Okay, so that's why it's part of the story. That's why we're stuck on a bridge. That's why certain things happen, is because they're better off making it one time than 3 times. And they're trying something that would hopefully, you as a person who's playing ZZZ that wants an open world experience, they're trying to give you somewhat of a linear open world status. Something like if you would play like Ocarina of Time Zelda, which it's an open world game. It's not actually an open world game. It's a linear game design that you still have to follow through. That while it looks like an open world, it is still stages that you're going through. That's what ZZZ is trying to attempt. They're trying to attempt to make it to where it fits. And dare I say, they're not going to get it right the first couple of times. So from what I'm reading and from what my understanding here is, and what they're trying to do, is they're trying to expand upon it. They're trying to do different things. If you read the transcript of the video with that this all comes from, the idea is to put side quests as well in there. So, like how we had side quests and everything else in TV mode and stuff like this. Well, hey, they're looking at doing something like that to where you'll talk to an NPC, maybe try to get them out the hollow, do something in that regards to where they could focus adding more things in there so that way you, the player, can get more rewards. You can get maybe some polycrowns by doing this kind of stuff. They're trying to expand upon it more than just let it be. And I give the devs full credit on this because I don't think that this is something they ever wanted to add, but it is something that out of all the options you got, This is the best. This is like not what they want, but this is the best answer they got right now. Is to try to make it linear for the end of the instant place players to play more short stages and stuff like this, while trying to give some kind of exploration element to the open world gamers. So that way, new gamers come in and hopefully they'll like it. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see nothing wrong with a development team that's trying.
We got diverse game modes, keeping the positives of casual gameplay while improving on their shortcomings. Interesting. Refine and redefine, filtering out promising gameplay mechanics for future innovation. Is this a photo mode? Oh dear. Striving for excellence. Highly reviewed gameplay modes will be iteratively optimized, adding more content to deliver a consistently premium experience. Okay, so what this sounds like is they're gonna take the most well-received gameplay modes, refine them, and then potentially add them in as another new endgame mode. That's what this kind of seems like. I don't really know, but once again, this shit is so vague and so non-descriptive that it could be that. It could be a bunch of other things. So, yeah, it mainly just seems like they will be listening to what people consider to be the best parts of the game. I can't really view that as a bad thing. We'll just have to see what, like, their first integration of it looks like. Okay.
No, you can't argue against that. With your logic, that you cannot argue against that because Weather Waves did that. Whimpering Waste in Weather and Waves, which nobody really likes it right now, but was made from pincer maneuver. That's why that event's never showed back up again in Weather and Waves. It's because they turned it into a permanent in-game event. It's the best idea. It's good. They're taking feedback from the fans. Hey, we really like photo mode. You know what? They might end up making photo mode in a future version permanent. They might take something here that people really like as a customized, as an event that was really well received. Like Auto Chess is coming back with upgrades. It was really well received. They refined it. They're doing things. And guess what? In version 2.4, it's coming back with a whole redefinement to it. And we're going to see how good it is or how bad it is. But that's what they're talking about.
Okay. Hollow Zero is getting a massive upgrade, integrating combat and exploration to create a gameplay experience with enhanced immersion and progression loops. Venture into the Hollow, gather resources, and grow stronger. Okay, so they're basically saying that Hollow Zero is gonna get a lot better. I feel like Hollow Zero right now has kind of just been like, oh man, hasn't it been the same boss for like 5 months? You just have like the Miasma Priest, and
they add a new one.
Use Yi Zhuan, it's just like kind of a very annoying experience. Hasn't that been the state of Hollow Zero?
Bro, I love Hollow Zero. I fucking love that gameplay. The entire point of what Hollow Zero is to build your characters, get different components, build your gear up, so that way you can play a fucking I don't even play Miyabi, but I'll say it like this. You can build a fucking higher level fucking Miyabi that fucking Miasma Priest would actually fucking cry. Like, Hollow Zero is what we wanted in Weather and Waves to continue, which was Elusive Death Realms. It was a dungeon-like crawler in a sense. You choose your options, you take the fork in the road, you go to different things, you get different abilities, and you see what you can create with those characters at the end. Like, them giving it a massive upgrade is one of the best fucking things. I hope they add more bosses. Yes, I agree. Like the Miasma Priest at the end was kind of every single WoW player fan that I have talked to, that we all agreed upon this, is that every time they retry creating fucking Elusive Death Realms, it's like just go back to the fucking original drawing board, go back to what you did in 1.0 and just make that better. Stop doing this board game shit. Stop trying to make it into this in-game fucking crap and everything. We want elusive Death Realms back to where we can build our characters and we can make these damn characters like ultimate god beasts. Then we start off basically from level 1. We change their gear. We change the way they play. And by the time we get to the end, holy shit, we're going against an enemy that we're resistant to. That, you know, that is at a disadvantage for us. And we're wiping the fucking floor with it. Like, it's not for everybody. But I'm a person who's an advocate who says, I fucking love Hollow Zero. I play that shit a lot. There is some cool shit you can do in it. Yanagi is like one of the fucking my most favorite characters that's in fucking Hollow Zero with her gear. Fucking Evelyn with her auto fucking parries and shit. Fucking like, it's great.
Zero for about like 6 or 7 months. They've had like one boss or maybe 2 bosses that they've rotated out. They added another boss. Okay, so across 6 months they have 2 bosses rotating in the game mode. Yeah, so perhaps that's where the big issues kind of are. The fact that it feels like they just haven't been updating the mode at fucking all, and that it's gotten like super stale and shit. So it's great to hear that they're committing to more updates, but yeah, them just adding a new boss in 2.3 is kind of ridiculous, especially when
they had a new gear.
They had one boss rotating in for 2.0 and then they took until 2.3 to add a second one. I don't know, that just seems a little ridiculous to me. Guys, just so you know, that's around 100.
It took Tower Adversity over a fucking year to put fucking a new boss, which isn't really a new boss, but an old boss to rotate in the Lampion Lumen fucking thing, the fucking Ice Cockroach. Otherwise, if I'm not mistaken, all Tower Adversity has fucking been from last year to a certain point of this year was always basically Crownless, Tempest, Infernal Rider, Morning Ikes. Like, recently they added like the monkey, like they added more bosses to it. Like, it takes time. Like, we're gonna bitch that like, oh well, you know, they rotated bosses from 2 to 2.3. Like, dude, they just adding fucking shit into fucking Tower Adversity now in Woowa. Come on. I think some of the things that you're talking about, you could just, you know, cut it some slack.
120 days you were fighting against the same boss every week. Yeah, that's how long 3 updates is. 2.1, 2.0, 2.1, and 2.2. All those updates combined is like 130 fucking days. So let's not be over here talking about how like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about, Sate? They added one at 2.3. That's 120 plus fucking days where they were fighting the same boss in Hollow Zero. That's wild. All right, next up, multiplayer gameplay is back and better than ever. Huh? This game had what? Core breakthrough. In multiplayer mode, players in a team can now jointly unleash the iconic chain attacks together. I'm not gonna lie. Did this game have a co-op mode, and were they
in the beta
not able to use? Were they not able to use chain attacks before, or like they had it in the beta and then they removed it? Okay, well, co-op sounds good. Surely it'll be good. I just find it odd that they had to advertise that. I think everyone thought you could already do this. I feel like everyone thought that you were going to be able to do this if co-op was enabled. Like, if co-op was enabled and then chain attacks didn't work, I'd be like, what the fuck is even going on?
Okay. There's a problem that they faced with chain attacks. And it's a problem that they probably also face with ultimates in a sense. What it is that, if you know what I'm going to talk about here, when you do a chain attack, the time slows down and you see that little bar that's going down to where you can swap to the next character. That was the problem. That it was a hang up because with lag, with different things, different components, with the infrastructure and everything else, that it made it to where players would have to be, you know, there's different things that works against it, that while it's cool on the concept of paper, it didn't quite work. So one of the things that they're going to implement to fix this is QTE. So fuck chain attacks. you're going to get QTE attacks. So when a person activates chain, you're activating a QTE system. They found a way around this. And it's because of the slowdown effect that was the key thing, to where you're in the middle of a fight, whatever, your friend hits this, and you're gonna. I understood that it's something of a development hell of an idea that they've them working on, and how they can functionalize this. So that's why, like they said, is QTE is something that was looked into doing this to be able to perform the chain attack. Which I know I'm completely fine with. Like, if you're going to make a chain attack and instead of there'd be a bar, a slowdown meter that, we could keep the pace of the battle going. The boss is stunned, and all of a sudden there's a QTE functionality that just freezes. Boom, hit the button here. Like Dragon Ball Fighters or some crap like this, where you got to hit a button and boom, you swap in the next team member and they hit the chain attack. Hey, I'm fine with that.
Like what even is this shit? So this is like Wuthering Waves advertising co-op and then saying, oh, by the way, guys, you'll have intro skills. Yes, I already expected that I was going to be able to use intro skills. Why are you telling me that I'll be able to use baseline features in the game? A little bit weird, but it's good to know that it's not going to be incomplete. I don't get that. Anyways, more features. Additional...
Again, Aftershock characters. How the fuck is that? Okay, let's go through multiplayer as it is right now, okay? Not with their update. Let's just take the game as it is. Orphe only comes onto the field when with her meter and shit every now and then while you're attacking. Trigger does her shit while you're attacking, right? How the fuck do you take that into account? Like, there's different components around this. You're going to be having 3 people. You're going to have people that's going to be playing 3 characters at one time. How is Trigger going to fucking work? How is Orphe going to work with a chain attack system? With their abilities? These are different things that the devs have to put into account when they're looking at system mechanics. You just can't say like, oh, well, this is a basic feature. Yeah, it's a basic fucking feature that's going to have a fucking problem if we throw co-op in it right now. And I'd rather the devs take the time to sit down, discuss it, try some different things, and figure something out to make it work. And then when it's working, be like, bam, put it in the game. I mean, I don't get this. I honestly don't get this with gacha content creators. Because when you hear certain video games in AAA title sense, right? Like GTA, oh, we got to delay the game a year because this is broken. People praise it, like, yo, you know what? That just means it gives the devs more time to cook. And, the game may never come out, but everybody has this hope that they're going to fix problems and they're going to make it better. Why is it when something in a gacha game may take time to be produced, that may take time to come out, and that they're being transparent and they're explaining, hey, look, we figured something out. We're going to get this working so that way you and your friends can jointly unleash chain attacks together. Why are we looking at it as if the development team is fucking retarded? That we're looking at it as it's a bad thing. Why are we searching for the negatives?
Exciting mechanics will be added, making the multiplayer experience something to look forward to. Okay, are they going to be adding like a new endgame involving multiplayer? That's kind of what this seems like. I don't really know if they would do this if it was just going to be like a casual event that only shows up for one patch. But once again, vague as fuck. Absolutely no details. Let's keep going. Combat level up. Missing your favorite characters? Threshold Simulation is the solution. The new gameplay mode, Threshold Simulation, is designed to let more veteran characters shine and thrive. Wait, so is this like, instead of balancing the game, they're just going to make one game mode where the old characters feel broken?
Maybe read everything first before you open your fucking mouth.
What the fuck even is this? What? Do you people even want that? It's like, oh yeah, by the way, in 90% of the game, your character's a piece of shit. But we've got this one.
Again, why don't you read the section first? St. Jonas is the type of person, right, that reads a fucking book and reads the first line of a fucking paragraph and he goes like, well, why did the character open the door? It makes absolutely no sense. Like, why would he open the fucking door? Like, is he just stupid? Is he retarded? And then he continues on to read, which he's going to end up doing this. And then he's going to end up being like, he opened it. Well, why didn't they just say that he opened the door because there was someone knocking at it? It makes no sense. They could have just said it, the thing. Dude.
New endgame. Only just this one, though. We've got this one new endgame where your dog shit unit is not going to be that dog shit. Can you just make them not dog shit everywhere? Does it only have to be this?
Can Weather and Wave stop being dog shit?
Whatever. I'm not gonna think about it too much. My brain is gonna hurt. Worried about standard characters' power levels. Combat interactions too simple. Version 2.5 brings enhanced optimization. Okay, maybe this is where they're going to be addressing some of the issues. Version 2.5 will feature specific power-ups for standard characters. Whoa! I guess we'll just have to see how strong those power-ups are. Because you want to know what, ladies and gentlemen? Unfortunately, ZZZ has already shit the bed when it comes to buffs. Y'all remember Ellen's buffs? Yeah, I don't either, because nobody uses the character after her buffs because they were dog shit. And so, the natural assumption that's going to be had, because of ZZZ's past, is that the first pass that they'll make on buffing a unit will be terrible. And then it'll be so bad that you have to assume that they'll need to be rebuffed in the future. And so I don't really even know the amount of confidence or how good you can even consider them buffing older units when every single time they do it, it appears that it doesn't really do very much at all for their viability. I think the Silver and B buffs were like, okay.
Bro, I know some people, a good handful of people, who are like me that do not like Miyabi. And you know what character they fucking play? Ellen Joe. And you know what they're doing right now? They're playing Ellen Joe and they're loving the buffs. Like, you're just assuming that no one's playing Ellen Joe. You're assuming that everybody is only playing Miyabi or whatever characters, whatever. But you're assuming that the buffs are shit. But last I fucking checked, when you last played ZZZ, you didn't even have an Ellen Joe on that account. You had a Miyabi. How can you even say those buffs are shit? Like, I want to know who the fuck is feeding him this information. Because straight up, we have gone the last couple of weeks talking about the things about buffing and different things. And there's too many fucking factors that will say whether something's good or bad because everybody's accounts are going to have a different experience on them. Because, again, time, money, effort, just general account investment, vertical, horizontal, whatever you look at, no player is going to have the same experience the same way.
Okay, they were okay, but that's a 50-50. It's literally a 50-50, right? The Ellen buffs were dog shit. The Sandby buffs were like just okay. That's a 50% success ratio on the buffs. So that's the level of confidence you can have, right? In whether or not these standard characters are going to be fixed. I don't really have that much. Because guess what, guys? They're standard characters. And the thing is...
Hold on. We'll get back to you here in a second, Satonis. I'm going to give you a hot take as well, guys. Soldier Zambi, right? Her the last character to get buffed before this is going to happen. dare I say, she got overbuffed. Because in all honesty, she was still a really good character. All she needed was a quality of life checkup to make certain moves, invulnerable and stuff like this. So that way you didn't get hit out of shit and everything else. Like, she needed that type of a treatment. But fucking ZZZ devs would do that, and they would fall beyond and say, you know what, the bitch needs more damage. Like, they kind of overbuff. I'm gonna say this. I think they overbuffed that girl. I think they went out of their way to really make up for people who had a bad experience and say, look, we're not just going to give her a quality of life update. We're going to give her some damage, because I don't think she even needed the damage. All her buff needed was just more basic invulnerability frames, better movement. That was what the problem was. It wasn't her damage output, but oh shit, hey, why look at a gift horse, with a fucking side face here? I mean, come on, man.
Buffing a limited character, right? Which can actually make you some money, because I'm pretty sure those buffs to Sambi and Ellen might have influenced at least a couple of banner pulls. The standard characters, they don't have that level of pull. They don't contribute that level of, revenue. And so I don't really know how much confidence I have in these developers actually putting in good changes to several kits in the game. I know, for example, right, Grace is...
He doesn't look at leaks and everything, so at that fucking point in time, I'm just going to straight up say it like this. He has no idea what it is, but when it happens and he knows what it is with the special potential system, and he figures out, oh, I can't wait to hear the fucking complaint of how dog shit it is.
Dog shit. Grace is fucking dog shit in
Bro, I said dog shit, and he says dog shit twice.
This game. I know another example. Who else? Soldier 11 is also dog shit in this game. I think some could even say that Rena doesn't have that much use because of all the crazy new supports that have come out. And so, who knows, right? I think the only standard character that actually gets used right now is Lycon, because he's with Hugo. But then they made Hugo a piece of shit, so Lycon's kind of fucking bad too. I don't really know. Okay, we'll just have to see. Maybe they'll pull a rabbit out of the hat and perform some goddamn magic over here, but I'm not really that confident. All right, let's keep reading. Increasing ease of gameplay. Oh, welcome aboard, everyone. Old veterans or fresh new faces. We're all family here. We're always welcoming new friends by helping newcomers progress faster through the early game and making the game more accessible. They're desperate for new players. Is that what do they mean? Are they allowing
So Tony, one day you'll learn this in business. You will learn this in business. There is no such thing as having enough customers. Okay? You're going to learn this one day, hopefully, when you ever have to go work for an actual company, or you actually own a company. Because, look, YouTube is not a full-time career. There's going to get to a point to where in your lifetime, you're going to have to stop and you have to actually get a real fucking job. It happens to everybody. Because you can't be young forever. What I'm going to put out like this is that they're desperate for new players. Every company's desperate for new players. Every company wants new customers. Even Kuro Games makes changes for new players. The thing about it is I made this statement, and this applies to Kuro. This applies to Hoyoverse. This applies to every single fucking gacha game. And this applies to even AAA fucking games that are fucking live service or multiplayer. This goes even to fucking Blizzard Entertainment with fucking goddamn World of Warcraft. If you are an invested fucking player and you have been playing the game since day one or for a very, very long time, and you are invested and you've been putting your money and different things in here, there comes to a point where you're no longer the target demographic for that game. Because you're at a point where your account, let me put ZZZ into this equation. You're a person that got Miyabi, you were playing ZZZs from 1.0, you got to Miyabi, you might have gotten an Evelyn and everything, and you might have actually said, you know what, I'm good. I got 3 teams, my characters are good, I got them built, everything else. I don't really need, Yizhuan in 2.0. I'm good. You skip the character. Your account's not hurting. You're still able to complete in-game content. You got no issues. You are no longer the target demographic that Zenless wants. Like, they want you to stay, but you basically, they tapped you out. They milked you for what they could. If you decide to spend money in the future, a little bit here, a little bit there, that's great. But otherwise, they need to change game shit. They need to change game mechanics. They need to do different things for new customers, because a new customer that comes into the game is more likely to do what? Spend money. They don't have a fully developed roster. They're more like they're going to feel the effect that they need to pull new characters, because you really expect them to only use the cunning hairs? They need 3 teams. So they're going to be pulling more. They might be spending more money than someone who has spent money back in 1.0. Like, what company does not want new fucking customers?
A speedrun feature where you'll just like skip through massive parts of the game and then like level up super fast. That seems odd to me. Like, I can get like a shortcut. I get it. They probably don't want to have a shortcut to 2.x because the 2.x story is dog shit. Maybe they're adding a way to fast forward the 2.x story. Because, like, I would actually suggest every ZZZ player plays 1.0 to, like, 1.4, and then they skip 2.x. That would be, like, you know how people suggest for Wuwa, you skip the 1.0 story? And then you, like, go to, like, 1.3, 1.4, and 2.0. In ZZZ, it's like you play the 1.0 to 1.4 story, and then you skip the rest. That's, like, the optimal way to enjoy Zenless Zone Zero. So maybe they're incorporating that into the actual gameplay loop for newer players. So that's what they got for newer players. Once again, it's vague as shit. I can only speculate, but that's my speculation. Now we got veteran players. Veteran players, in version 2.4, Suibian Temple's management welcomes a one-click AFK feature. Oh, so I guess this was dog shit. I guess this was trash. I guess nobody wanted to do this fucking lazy-ass, terrible fucking minigame, and they just decided to EOS it and add an auto button. Wow, who could have thought another chore? I guess it only took them 4 fucking versions to realize that this was a boring-ass chore that added nothing at all to the game. It only took 120 days. It only took them about half a year, yeah. Wow, this sounds like TVs. These devs just have a gigantic fucking ego. They think they know best when they add boring shit to the game that nobody wants to play. They get the feedback that it's boring as shit and complete ass, and then they wait on that feedback for 120 plus fucking days, or even like half a year. Wait until nobody plays the game, and then they remove the offending feature. This is why I cannot have a lot of confidence in any more Relaunch.
You know how hard Suibian Temple is? Yeah, a lot of people don't like it, okay? I agree with this. So a lot of people don't like it. But you know how hard it is? You go do the exploration mode, you go get all the fucking shit out of it, you go talk to the girl at the shop, you go buy everything that she's got in stock, and the only thing you go do at Suibian Temple is once a week, you just go there and you just go make all the shit there. And then once in the fucking blue moon, you go talk to Sweetie when the time comes, and you go sell all the junk to her. And then you go to the pawn shop and you go get your fucking discs and your fucking ferry tickets and all that other stuff out of the shop, which they're taking that away and they're going to doing something else with that after 2.5, they stated. But it was a stupid little mini game, right? That's been part of the thing, is a temple management system that, hey, at first it was just a point and click. I mean, fucking Weather Waves had the point and click shit that lasted for fucking for a patch, which was fucking Moonlit Festival. They had the fucking one with to get Sanwa and all this other stuff with the fucking bullshit of the getting her costume. They had that other one, I forgot what it was called, but the one where you're dating the girls and building up their heart meters and such in order to go attack enemies and such. It was all point and click fucking games. Like, even Weather Waves had them. Like, pot calling the kettle black here.
This is why I can't have any more confidence any time that there's a dev talk for this game. Because you can literally see the paper trail of all the times people have said, you are adding dog shit features to the game that are not fun. You are adding shit that takes a bunch of time that nobody wants to do. Please remove it. It would make the game better. And then they don't listen for over 100 fucking days. They wait until all the players leave, and then they remove the offending feature. You guys wonder why this game is dying. It's because these devs have the most insane ego in the space.
Okay, really quickly, we're talking about devs who have an insane ego, right? Right? Anyone watched my last video that I just posted today? Let's just say you didn't. You want to talk about devs that have a fucking ego on them. Fucking Kuro did what fucking Honkai Star Rail did. I even condemn fucking Honkai Star Rail for this. But Kuro, the greatest gacha company known to fucking man. Oh, Lordy Jesus. Can I get an amen? I'll take it. I will take that as a sign from the heavens that is your amen by subscribing to the channel. But Lordy, the great old company that we call Kuro Games has made the decision to fucking, in spring of 2026, sell a free-to-play fucking game with a physical fucking disc. And its pricing is probably going to be the equivalent of fucking HSR when it did this dumb bullshit of fucking $40, so you get 50 astrites, 30,000 shell credits, and a one-cost Phantom Echo in a fucking food buff. But Fox, Weathering Waves Deluxe PS5 Edition includes a metal card, a standee, and a color paper. Motherfucker, you know what is so fucking sad? You know what is sad? I really want the standee. Oh, you really want the Woowa acrylic? Hold on. Hold the fuck on. There you go. You want an acrylic stand for $12 fucking dollars? I mean, I would be the type of person myself that would prefer to go ahead and buy, that would love to see something like this in the deluxe version, but you want a fucking standee? There you fucking go. $12 fucking dollars. And yet you can go on fucking AliExpress and Temu and shit and probably find it for fucking cheaper. This is not even worth $40. It's a fucking scam. And the devs have the fucking audacity, the fucking ego to fucking sell you a fucking goddamn title simulator. Because if you have no internet on the fucking PlayStation 5, or if Kuro Games somehow decide that Weatherwave's EOS is tomorrow, the fucking game disc that you're gonna pop in that PlayStation 5 is completely fucking useless. Its value as a fucking collector's item, because it has no more fucking purpose, is going to go down in value. That is just completely fucking worthless. What's going to be on the fucking PlayStation 5 disc? 100 megabit fucking install file that says go to the fucking PlayStation Network store and install the latest update? Yeah, I totally want to spend $40 fucking dollars to get a fucking return of 50 astrites. Where I could go to a top-up service, I could go buy a top-up service and get fucking basically 2,400 fucking astrite for 40 fucking bucks. I could go buy the fucking goddamn daily pass, and in the next fucking 5 or 8 months or so, I could get fucking 15 10 pulls in 8 months worth of time for 40 fucking dollars. So before you start fucking calling the fucking pot over here fucking black, look at your goddamn fucking own company who is selling a fucking free-to-play game. League of Legends, when they sold a fucking game, at least they made something completely fucking unique. They made a shitty fucking game for fucking $29.99, sold it on fucking Steam, called The Rise of the fucking Ruined King, and it was completely separate. You don't see League of Legends fucking boxing up fucking League of Legends and selling it on Walmart shelves, but fucking Curl's gonna fucking do it.
They take so long to remove dog shit from the game, and it almost makes you wonder, why did they even add it in this dog shit state in the first place? You look at what TVs launched as, and you're just like, where did they even design this? You look at the Sweebian Temple, and you're just like, this is the most unfun thing I've ever played. How did it launch like this? And that's what you just have to wonder. What the fuck are these developers doing? How does this shit even make it into the game? And why does it take so fucking long for this shit to be removed? And until you know the answer to those questions, until somebody gets like fucking fired, until there's like an announcement, hey, we found out who was sabotaging Zenless Zone Zero since its launch. We found them out and we executed the guy in Minecraft, right? Until that occurs, who knows when the next Sweebian Temple will be? Who knows when the next TV is going to be? Because the Sweebian Temple was essentially the TV of 2.0. There's going to be another dog shit lame-ass feature that they're going to add to the game that's going to be in line with TVs or the Sweebian Temple. You already fucking know it's going to happen. Just wait. It'll probably be in 3.0. So yeah, obviously a lot of pessimism over here. But how does this shit take until 2.4 when it was introduced into 2.0 to remove? How does it take this long?
How did it take so long from 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 to 2.8 for you to get one more combat event? You were so upset for 2.5 don't have a combat event. 2.6 don't have a combat event. 2.7 don't have any fucking events. And then 2.8 has 2 combat events. The devs listened. They gave you a whole new fucking combat event. And you know what? They even listened to CJ so well. No more hamster on a wheel fucking bullshit. We got hamster on a ticket, baby.
Nobody knows. But might be, hey, maybe this guy will tell us right now. Constantly innovating and constantly progressing.
Come on, keep playing the victim card.
Just why are you lying? You're going backwards. The word that you use here is regressing. The word you use here is regressing. Because you are going backwards. 3.4K viewers at the peak for the release of a new character. I've never seen that before. Genuinely, I've never seen a 3.4K concurrent viewership in the category for a new character. That is down from 24K. Literally 1/8 of the previous viewership. How? And let's finish the statement from Y. Constantly innovating and constantly progressing. We're both creators and part of the player community. Welcome, everyone. Why does it feel like why does this statement read like it's the launch of the game? This is version 2.4.
Because it's
what the fuck do you mean, welcome everyone? Huh?
Never mind.
This reads like a launch live stream. Maybe, yeah, I guess this is confirmation that this is another soft relaunch. I guess that's just confirmation. This is actually the third one. But once again, it's so vague. All the details that are being shown in here, I don't really know what to even take slightly seriously from what I see going on.
So you remember how just a little while ago he presented the Twitch tracker, right? Let's go take a look at something. I mean, more people I know stream on YouTube than they do on Twitch, but that's besides the point. I mean, yeah, 3,000 for thing or whatever, 2,000 average viewers, like peak viewer concurrency here, like September, like 24 right here. Wow, October, 9,000, right? Okay, yeah, he's got us. And then the peak viewership right here in November has gone up to 17. Oh boy, okay. I mean, pretty much you can see ZZZ has been pretty much on an average, straight line right here, and then went down a little bit, but that's just because we're in right now November, but it's been pretty much steadily. You can see that it had its high right here in June, went down, and then it's steadily staying around 13, to 12,000 viewers, right? And it's coming up. Let's look at weather and waves. Huh. Why such a drastic drop? Huh. Yeah, I don't even trust the fucking Twitch tracker on either one. But hey, I mean, if you're gonna show one side, which is ZZZ, you should show fucking weather and waves too, right?
Like, half the changes are, we're going to be adding a bunch of cool shit. By the way, we're not going to tell you any details at all about the cool shit that we're adding. Just know that it's going to be cool. They're asking for so much confidence from the viewer, from the player, right? They're asking for so much benefit of the doubt. But right now, I feel like what the ZZZ community needed was shit that was actually concrete. A list of the characters, what the buffs are going to be, actual examples of the stuff that they're showing. Instead, it's just a bunch of words and it's just a bunch of promises. And when we're riding off of this past set of promises that absolutely did not even get slightly followed through with, you said you were going to make combat feel better and then you added fucking miasma to the game.
You know what's funny, bruh? Everybody in my chat right now knows all of the fucking changes that's happening in 2.4 and 2.5. They know what catchers are being buffed. They know everything because you know why? They go do research. They actually go do on purpose to go read.
Brother, you don't have any more benefit of the doubt. There's a reason why there's no fucking players playing the game, there's nobody streaming the game, and there's nobody watching the game because it's all run out. So what business do you have putting this little detail and this much vague shit into this breakdown? What the fuck? Give us like actual stuff to look forward to, not just, yeah, everything's gonna be better. Everything's gonna be better, by the way. It's just, we're not gonna tell you how or what is being improved.
I mean,
I was really looking forward to this.
Well, the ways doesn't tell you what the fuck they're improving.
I thought that this was actually going to be like some in-depth, cool.
Like, you were bitching about this shit with fucking Woowa. Several times. You're reading their fucking dev talks and such. Well, they're not explaining you how they fix any of this. They're not going to explain what they do. They're just like, oh, okay, never mind. Let's continue.
But this, to me, just seems like more of the usual when it comes to ZZZ. And, like, I just kind of view this as, like, just one of the most inconsistent, like just one of the most, like, inconsistent, one of, like, the worst messaging. Like, it's just, I don't know, like, part of this just feels like tone deaf. It just feels like literal talking. And when you have the Hoyoverse stigma, and when you've seen that this game has already gone through 2 relaunches, and when you've seen how, like, bad the management of the end game has been, they're like nerfing every anomaly character, they're like out of commissioning characters like Hugo within 2 months of their banner releasing. There's not a lot.
No one in his chat ever gave him the
how this game is.
Did no one in this chat even give him the transcript to all this to further deep dive into this? This is all he did. Wow, such an investigating journalist.
Being run, and this developer talk, if you want to call it that, it's more like a developer fucking cliff notes with no details at all and no bullet points. It's just the headers, no explanation. This doesn't inspire much confidence either. So yeah, maybe you guys will have a much more positive spin on this than I do, but when I've seen the game going downhill for so long, it is what it is, man. Hopefully they'll do something that brings it back. That'll be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you all thought. Peace.
Let me know what your thoughts is, guys. As always, keep it classic, keep it jazz, and always keep it real. And hopefully we don't have to react to anything with this in the near future.